Welcome back to Algebra 1 Honors. We're going to continue on. Actually, we're sort of skipping back, but you're going to do these in order. So we're going back to Lesson 9-3, which is solving problems with two variables, i.e. systems of equations. Okay? And here's a classic problem. It's very much like the cows and people problem. Okay? And both of these problems, I would say, you have a count part. How many of something do you have? And then you have a value part. In the cow and people problem, the value part is how many feet each one has. And in this problem, the value part is how much a quarter is worth and how much a dime is worth. Okay? But in order to get one solution here, we have to have two equations. Okay? So, and sometimes a table might help us a little bit. So here your book uses a table on this. I'm going to put one up here just to help us organize the information. Okay, so we have, first of all, quarters and dimes. Here's quarters, and here's dimes. Okay, now we need to pick some variables. So for quarters, logically, I would pick Q. Q is my number of quarters, right? And D is how many dimes I have. Now, just looking at the quarters, what's the value of a quarter? A quarter is 25 cents, right? So the value of my quarters is going to be 25 times however many of them I have. If I have 2 times 25 would give me 50. If I have 5 quarters, 5 times 25 give me $1.25, 125. Right? And dimes, what's the value of a dime? Well, the value each, so I'm just putting my value each there. My value of each dime is 10. Right? So my total value for quarters is going to be 25Q. And my total value for dimes is going to be 10 times D. So this is how much money I have in quarters. This is how much money I have in dimes. Now, my statements up there, or my word problem, gives me two pieces of information. It says Mr. Kiger has 15 coins. So from that, I can write one of my equations. Okay? I can write that my number of quarters plus my number of dimes, right, is equal to 15. That's what I would call the count part of the problem, because we're not really distinguishing between the value of the dimes and the quarters. We're just counting how many we have. Okay? So he's got 15 coins in his pocket. Now, the other part, and we could have lots of answers if we only had this much information. He could have 10 quarters and 5 dimes, 7 quarters and 8 dimes, lots of answers. So to get one unique answer, we have to have the next part of the problem, and it says that he has $2.55. Well, we're going to take these two pieces of information here. Say, okay, here's my amount of money that I have in quarters. Here's my amount of money that I have in dimes. And if I add them together, I should get $2.55. Now, since I have the 25 as a whole number, not 0.25, and the 10 as a whole number, not 0.10, I'm going to keep everything in pennies, in whole numbers. Okay, so I'm going to say 25Q plus 10D equals 255. Okay, don't make one a decimal and leave the others whole numbers. It won't work. Okay, now I have two equations, two variables, and 3 ways to solve that problem. Okay, but when you're doing lesson 9-3, at this point you'll only know 2 ways. You'll know graphing and you'll know substitution. Okay, so we have to. I don't think we're going to graph. That just takes too long. So we're going to use substitution to solve this problem. And then later, after you've seen lessons 9-4 and 9-5, you can come back and do this problem with elimination, which I think is even easier. Now, substitution, remember substitution has 3 steps. We take the easiest equation and we solve for one of the variables. So let's take our top equation there and let's solve for D. Solve for our number of dimes. So we're going to transform this equation into D equals 15 minus Q. Okay, I just subtracted Q from both sides. Then take this new name, this name right here. That's my nickname, my new nickname for D. And in my other equation, I'm going to substitute this name for D in place of the D. So I'm going to put the nickname in place of the formal name. So I'm going to come down here, and we're going to have 25Q plus 10, and where there was a D, I'm going to put a set of parentheses, and I'm going to put in that new nickname for D, 15 minus Q. So where there was a D here, now there's going to be its other name, 15 minus Q. Okay? That's all I did was to substitute, use the nickname. Equals 255. Now we have one equation, one variable, we can solve that. We have to distribute. So we're going to get 25Q plus 150 minus 10Q equals 255. Okay, so we've got 25Q minus 10Q. That's going to give us 15Q when we combine our like terms there. And then take 150 away from each side. And we get 15Q equals what? 105. Divide both sides by 15. And Q is going to equal 7. Okay? Now, we've got 7 quarters. So we go back up here and he has, we can fill this in. 7 quarters. Right? And he's got to have 15 coins, so it's pretty easy to figure out he's got 8 dimes. Now, we need to double check though, because we got to make sure that if he's got 15 coins in his pocket and they're like this, does he have the right amount of money? Okay, so 7 quarters, let's see, 4 would be $1, 3 more would be 75 cents. So this 7 quarters is $1.75, right? That's 7 quarters. And then 8 dimes is 80 cents. And let's see, when I add, I get a 5, 15, carry my 1, bring my decimal point down, $2.55. It checks. All right, that's what I needed. Okay, so this is how you would use substitution to solve a word problem that has 2 variables, number of quarters, number of dimes. Could be number of cows' feet, number of chickens' feet. Lots of different kinds of this sort of problem. Okay, but you're going to need 2 equations in order to solve them. Okay.